Welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to talk about, well, him and a few other people, but we're going to talk about this weird sensation. It's Hybristophilia. And I know some of you may be thinking, what is Hybristophilia? This is the world of Hybristophilia, where love letters go to death row and the red flags are just foreplay. Today we're diving into this psychological phenomenon that has people falling head over heels for murderers. And we're breaking down 5 infamous cases. Now, before we get to that, I want you to understand my channel is an amalgamation of things I am just interested in, from vlogging to challenges that I like doing with cooking, or me just talking about weird, macabre things like that. Cheap plug, I have a podcast called Creepy, so you should listen to that. We'll get more into these things. Ted is just right over my shoulder right now, so buckle up, light a candle. I have my candle, Bohemian, and maybe just delete your prison pen pal app, because today we're talking about these guys. So let's break down what this even is.
What the hell is even that? Get everybody out of my yard!
What is Hybristophilia? You have a weird sexual or emotional attraction to people who commit crimes. Specifically, murderers. Now that is where things get kind of weird. So there are 2 types of Hybristophilia. There's the passive, people who fall in love with criminals after a crime, even though letters, documentaries, or court appearances, they fall in love with them. And then there's the active. Here are the people who enable their crimes. Think Bonnie to Clyde, or Carol Ann Fugate to Charles Starkweather. These people are the active ones. They're willing to go out of their way to protect this person that they're in love with, even though they're committing these dark, dark crimes, like the stuff behind my head right now. Today, we're talking about the passive types. The people who saw these crimes unfold in court or on the news or through a Netflix documentary and said, wow, I could fix that. We're going to talk about those people. Now, the common traits among Hybristophiliacs or Hybristophiles, it doesn't get easier to say the longer I do this. Low self-esteem or trauma history. Is that you? Okay. Need for control to be in a safe relationship. Is that okay? Romanticization of violence or rebellion. Obsession with notoriety. And social isolation or delusional thinking. You might check a lot of these boxes. So in other words, these aren't just love letters. They're often cries for validation dressed up in lipstick and a nice dress, or a little bit of glitter glue. So let's talk about our first major case. Let's talk about the poster boy for courtroom courtship himself, the devil in a suit, Theodore Bundy, also known as Ted, or Teddy if you're close to him.
Father, this guy stinks!
Ted Bundy had confessed to over 30 murders between 1974 and 1978. His victims were mostly young women, many of whom resembled his ex-girlfriend because he just could not get over her. He lured his victims with fake injuries, posing as a cop. They kidnapped, raped, murdered, and in some cases returned to the corpses for, he was a necrophile, okay?
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
How romantic is that? He was a necrophiliac. So keep all this in your mind when I tell you that he had fans. In court, he was well-groomed, articulate, charismatic, and women lined up to attend his trials. He murdered over 30 people. 30 women. Okay, I mean, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but women lined up. Some women were parting their hair down the middle because that's the women that he killed. I don't get it, but we're going to keep talking about it. I am outraged. And I already know where we're going with this. His courtroom, like people in the courtroom, they said these things about him.
Every time he turns around, I kind of get that feeling, oh no, you know, he's going to get me next, you know.
But yet you're fascinated by him.
Very, very. Every night when I go to bed, I just, you know, I get very scared. I shut my door and lock him, you know.
I'm not afraid of him. He just doesn't look like the type to kill somebody. You try to imagine yourself in his place and to see how he's feeling, looking at the pillows with blood stains and everything, and if he really did it or not.
He doesn't look like a killer. He looks like a killer to me. He's so smart and so handsome. Oh my goodness, yes. Nothing gets my heart racing like a man who strangles co-eds and drives a VW Beetle filled with decapitated heads. I don't know if that was actually a quote, but a major highlight here, Carol Ann Boone. Picture here. Okay, I think I did that. A friend from work who moved to Florida just to be near him during his trial. He proposed to her on the stand during a murder trial. They had a daughter together, conceived during a non-scheduled conjugal visit. Now, if you don't know what a conjugal visit is, Google it. I'm not going to tell you. That's right. Now, the psychological explanation for this. Bundy created a false image. He was a clean-cut guy who couldn't have possibly done these things. But he did. And when women heard that he did, they didn't stop. Now, many women believe that they were the ones who saw the real Ted Bundy. They looked at this man and his cut 80s, 70s haircut and his nice blue suits, and they said, well, they don't see him like I see him. He's different.
Incapable of any feeling.
Daddy, I love him!
No.
They love this guy, right? But it turned out they were narcissistic themselves because they believed that they could fix this guy. Also, he was a narcissist. So if you take a narcissist and a hybristophiliac and you pair them together, that's a deadly combination. People would say he didn't just commit these crimes. He performed for an audience. The audience would send him fan mail. Ted Bundy was the OG hybristophilia icon. He was the poster boy. The guy in the clean-cut blue suit walking in there all suave saying, look, judge, I didn't kill him. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a law student. I didn't do anything. And these girls are back here like it's the Beatles, just eating it up. Like, oh my goodness, there's no way he did it. They don't see him like I see him. He's innocent. Don't send him away. Well, Ted Bundy ended up getting fried, and his love letters stopped because his life did as well. So that was Ted Bundy and his fangirls. They called them the I think the Bundy groupies, the Ted groupies or something like that. But look at him back there, just all smug, smiling. I hate that guy. Let's talk about number 2. Let's talk about our second case here. Heavy metal with halitosis, Richard Ramirez. Now, Ramirez killed at least 13 people in California during the mid-90s. Doesn't he look so friendly and nice? What a heartthrob, right? His nickname was the Night Stalker. He was like a horror movie villain, except real and somehow always sweaty and smelling of just leather and boiled peanuts. During his trial, however, in 1989, he would flash that pentagram on the palm, and he did a little smile like it was prom night, and women showed up daily to support him, wearing red lipstick and holding signs. He received over 80 letters a day, many of which was lingerie and photos. People loved him, and I don't understand why, because I hope the picture pops up. I'll just put the picture here. Look at this guy. Look at him. Like, look at him, right? How? I'm not upset. I'm just confused. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, was a brutal serial killer, home invasion, rapist hybrid, where he was just breaking into houses and stomping people to death and assaulting them and laughing and shooting and torturing. There was one person where he tortured them with exposed wiring just to keep them alive. But I mean, the dude got married in prison. He got married in prison. Yeah, in 1996, he married Doreen Leo, I think it's pronounced her name. She's a magazine editor, and she claimed that he was kind and funny. Between, I guess, the murders and the stuff that he did, she reportedly visited him 4 times a week and said he's not the monster everyone makes him out to be. Man, he beat a woman to death with a tire iron and left a satanic message on the wall in blood. He's not misunderstood. He's exactly as bad as he's been advertised. Psychologically, though, the chaos and the danger is what attracted these women. Some people were just attracted to romanticized darkness. Some saw him as rebellious or against the system. Others just wanted to be the one who could tame the devil. But he wasn't edgy. Like, he was a murderer who never flossed. That's the difference there. He's not Rage Against the Machine. He is a machine of evil raging against small Asian women in Los Angeles. I mean, let's be real here, okay? Richard Ramirez is darkness personified in a human being that happens to smell, once again, like leather and boiled peanuts. So that's Richard Ramirez. He got married, but unfortunately for him, he died. So it turns out even evil, no matter how much love letters you send it, will still die of cancer if you give it to him. Now, let's talk about one of the more manipulative and morbidly marketable cases in recent memory. Old Jodi Arias. Yes, Jodi Arias. In 2008, Jodi murdered her ex-boyfriend Travis Alexander. Now, by no means is she a serial killer, but is she a stone-cold psychopath? Yes, she absolutely is. Just look at her back there looking all feeble with the little, You're not innocent, in no means, because she stabbed him 27 times, slit his throat ear to ear, and then shot him in the face. She, however, after that, calmly took a shower, went over to her side guy's house, and acted like nothing happened. That's not heartbreak. No. That is horror movie efficiency. She is moving like Michael Myers in Halloween Part 2. On a mission, moving her way. That was her. She did that. The trial took place 5 years later. Now, I am not getting into the details of what these people do. That is for my podcast, Creepy, which you should listen to. We're talking about the weird fandom around them. And this media frenzy, when she was on trial, like, she changed her story so many times. There were ninjas. It was just so much. And then she was like, oh, he likes little boys and he likes little girls. And I still was with him. Really, like, she blamed him. She cried on cue. And she became this polarizing figure, which I don't know why, but my guess has something to do with how she looked. Now, given, this is not the Jodi that everyone saw all the time. This is innocent, beaten, battered housewife Jodi. Jodi, before that, was allegedly a model. So that's what the sick incels online saw. They looked past what they were seeing here, which is just a random woman that saved a lot, and they saw this model. Men have been writing her love letters in prison. She received so many marriage proposals. For some reason and somehow she's selling her art on eBay. I've seen her art. Let's put her art right here. Not great. Not worth an eBay buy. Websites popped up defending her, calling her sexy, smart, and misunderstood. Because nothing says soulmate like getting stabbed 27 times. But yeah, sure. I guess intelligent, sexy, misunderstood. I misunderstand something 27 times, but that's just me. Now, here's some quotes here from okay. This is a guy on Twitter who said, "I can't explain it. I feel like she just needs love." 27 times. I think she She's had all the love she should experience. Someone else said, I'd still date her. I don't care what she did. You, my friend, are lonely. It was so lonely. Psychologically, though, Jodi did these flipping. She'd go from seduction to victimhood, appealing to men with these weird hero complexes. Once again, it's the idea of, I can fix them. Let me just fix them. She's crazy, but I can fix her. Her beauty, intelligence, and manipulation turned into a project, something that they thought they could fix. In reality, she would use charm like a weapon, and many Hybristophiliacs, that was their appeal. They were like, oh, she's charming enough. She didn't just bait the trap, she decorated it with glitter and prison sketches, which sounds very elementary, I must say, which, when you hear her talk, like, when you really just listen to her, like, she sounds so stupid. So I guess some of these guys like the idea that she has, like, this stupid talk to her. Like, she's always, like, you know, they'll ask her, like, are you lying about killing Travis? And she'll be like, well, I mean, what do you mean by kill? Like, 27 times? Like, she sounds stupid. So I guess maybe because she sounds stupid, these guys are like, oh, I can fix her. Just give her a book and have her make me dinner and other things I'm not going to say out loud. You know, maybe that's what it is. But Jodi's still in jail, and people are still writing her letters. Like, unlike these other two gentlemen, she's not dead yet. So, speaking of jail, let's talk about someone who isn't in jail anymore. America's most hated mom, Casey Anthony. Oh, yeah. This person is like the most divisive person in Florida history. I really genuinely can't think of anyone. I was going to give a pop culture reference of someone who's more divisive or less divisive. Everyone hates her. In 2008, in case you didn't know, Casey back here, not the old white guy right there. Casey, can we get a Casey? She reported her, well, actually, she didn't report her daughter missing. Her parents did. But her 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee Anthony, was reported missing by her grandmother, Casey's mom. Now, Casey, however, did not report her daughter missing for 31 days. She partied, entered some hot body contests, and led police, like, to weird rabbit chases because she lied to them, like, multiple times. Oh, we're at Universal Studios. Oh, there's this nanny called Zanny who's watching her, and she fled with her, and, you know, we'll get into that another day, but she just lied out of her mind. Now, Kaylee's remains were found in a wooded area near the home. There's some duct tape around the skull. She was dead. Now, I'm no detective, but when you go clubbing and your daughter's missing, something's not mathing, okay? There has to be, she was innocent, okay? I mean, but that's, in 2011, her trial happens, and she gets charged with first-degree murder. Now, she first claims that Kaylee drowned accidentally, and then she later goes on to say that she doesn't know what happened to Kaylee, and then she blames it on her father, and despite, like, this overwhelming suspicion, she's acquitted. And it's mainly because of, like, really weak forensic evidence and strong reasonable doubt. Like, America knows. It's like America's best kept secret. Like, the FBI killed Martin Luther King. Casey Anthony did it. Bush did 9/11. These all go together, right? So, despite being hated by most of the public, some people defended her online, and these are mostly guys. So, she received fan mail, marriage proposals, and sympathetic YouTube videos. One man claiming he wanted to take care of her and show her a better life. It reminds me of that meme where it's like the old guy and he's like at the strip club or something, and he's like, "Hey, shawty, I can take you away from all of this." That's how he comes off to me like that. But nothing says wife material than lying to the cops while your daughter's decomposing in the woods. I'm just saying. Some men on the psychological here, they fetishize this, like, hot mess energy that she has, this white trash Florida vibe that she's giving. Like, she walks out barefooted out of her trailer every day and, like, goes and, you know, does a little bit of the, and then, you know, does a little bit of the, and then maybe might do a little bit of the, cool. You know, like that's the vibe that she gives off to people. She has received like so much fan mail and stuff. It's just people like she is an object of these weird, creepy dudes like forbidden desires. Uh, Others have bought that she was unjustly accused fantasy because it's a fantasy. No, she was justly accused. Lady was crazy, like for real, like cuckoo bananas. Like she allegedly unalived her daughter, and so hybristophilia here is blurred into infamy fandom. So it's kind of like they're not full hybristophiliacs, but if you read between the lines, they are. It's where attraction and conspiracy kind of collide there. But Casey Anthony's an interesting case study. Might need to get into that one. Did she do it? Will I say it out loud? Our next case, though. All right. Here's our final case for today, and it is the TikTok prison sweetheart himself. And now we arrive to something that is heartbreaking and disturbing. It's baffling that anyone could find any kind of romance in this. Welcome to the world of Chris Watts. Good timing, Chris. He's the human embodiment of a red flag. In 2018, he murdered his wife, Shanann, and their 2 daughters, Bella and Celeste. He buried Shanann in a shallow grave, and then he stuffed his girls' bodies into an oil tank at his job site. Okay? That's where we're at. His motive, he was having an affair, and he didn't want the responsibility. Here's an option. Just leave. However, he calmly lied to the police multiple times in multiple interviews until finally he didn't. He went from being the world father to a family annihilator faster than his Google search history was erased. But post-sentencing, this sick freak, man, he got so much fan mail and love letters and money, TikTok edits romantically, looking at his eyes and his smile, even his emotions during the interrogation. The emotions of saying, oh, crap, I'm about to go to jail for the rest of my life. Some women claim that he was pressured or emotionally abused by Shanann. Those are probably the same women who pressure and emotionally abuse their man, assuming they do have one and they don't live alone with a dog or a cat or a pillow that looks like a dog or a cat. Here are some of the real messages from some of these women. Okay, I'm going to read these for you. I feel like I could have saved you. I don't believe the media. You're not a monster. You look like someone who just needs to be loved. Ladies, if your type is emotionally distant dad who kills his family, therapy's right over there. Just go, just do it, sit down, talk about your feelings, because you're doing something that's just weird, creepy, freaky, and a tinge bit psychotic. However, the psychological explanation of why maybe these women have this weird attraction to Chris Watts, he was passive, soft-spoken, and normal-looking, that dissonance kind of feeds into the fantasy. His regret played well on camera. He was good at playing the regret card. He triggered a lot of sympathy. Many women projected onto him that fixer fantasy of I'd be a better wife, I could do better for him, I can fix him. Chris Watts didn't need love. Chris Watts needs life without parole and 1,000 years of introspection. He's gonna get that. Will he ever introspect to the horrible things that he did? Will the letters ever stop? Probably not. The question is, so what makes someone fall for a murder? Let's break down some of the core drivers behind hybristophilia. Number 1, it's fantasy over reality. The killer becomes a blank slate for projection. You see who you want to see, not who they are. Number 2, control from a distance. Prison provides a weird sense of safety. Like, I can love this person, but they can never get out and hurt me. They can't cheat. They can't leave me. They're literally behind bars. Total control. Number 3, and we talked about that with Chris Watts, The fixer complex. You want to be the one that saves them, to reach them, to change them. Spoiler, it won't work. You can't fix them. They're psychopaths. They're sociopaths. They're narcissists. Number 4 is the infamy equals an allure. We live in a fame-obsessed culture. Everyone wants to be famous. For some people, that proximity to a killer will equal the clout that they want. Number 5, the trauma bond and the low self-worth. People with abusive pasts may normalize violence. Loving a killer feels familiar, always safe. It's ironic, but it's true. And the number 6 is glorification through the media. TV series, documentaries, and social media edit these humanized monsters. They show Bundy as charming, Watts as remorseful. The victims just fade into the background. That's what they do in order to bring you in real quick. So Hybristophilia isn't about just obsession. It's about distortion, a distortion of love, of empathy, of reality. People who fall in love with murderers aren't always evil, but they're often lost. And in trying to find a connection, they embrace people who destroyed. In the end, killers like Bundy, Ramirez, Arias, Anthony, and Watts, they don't deserve love stories. Their victims deserve the love stories. But the victims aren't here to romanticize, to cling on to. So the Hybristophiliacs cling on to these. So if you found this video disturbing, fascinating, or both, hit like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments which case shocked you the most. What do you think fuels a Hybristophiliac in the age of the true crime culture that we are now in? I'll see you guys next time, I guess.